Hello. I'd like to pay tribute to my remarkable mother in honor of Mother's Day and tell you about an experience I had that was remarkable and transformed my relationship with her in an instant. And things have never been the same since. And I'm going to invite you to think about your relationship with your mother on this special day and think about what you might be able to do to create a transformation in that relationship. My mom grew up in a small town in central Pennsylvania, Milton, Pennsylvania, and she grew up in a very poor family. And her eyes were crossed, but her family had no money to pay for her to have a surgery. So when she was about 15, the Lions Club paid to have a surgery for her on her eyes, and it changed her life dramatically and made it so much better. My mother has spent her adult life contributing countless volunteer hours for the Lions Club, and I'm so touched by that. At age 75, my mom was district governor of the Lions Club for Central Pennsylvania, having the second largest territory in the world. So at 75, she traveled around the state and visited over 100 clubs and was so devoted. It was amazing. Now at 77, she still continues to be instrumental in forming new Lions clubs, uh, beginning projects and funding campaigns. She's so creative and she's contributed so much. It's truly remarkable. On high school education, my mom went to Niagara Falls and worked for Bell Aerosystems as a technical illustrator. She's very artistically inclined. She then came back to Milton, Pennsylvania and started her own business 25 years ago on $10, enough to print contracts. She has a business called Profiles of Pennsylvania and develops brochures throughout central Pennsylvania, going to communities, and her brochures include a history of the area, beautiful historical photographs, a map, and she pays for it by advertising. And she's done this for 25 years. At 77, as I say, she's still doing it. So she's truly remarkable. In addition to that, she began or was instrumental in beginning a mural arts program in Milton. And we're now starting on they're starting on their third mural. She currently is working on beginning a furniture factory in Milton because a lot of jobs have been lost. Many of the factories have closed. And so she wants to find a way to bring more jobs to the community, which is somewhat economically depressed. So as you can see, my mom's still going strong, even at 77. Forgive me, Mother, for revealing your age. I know you're actually younger than me now, if you ever watch this, but I just must toot your horn a little bit. You know, my mom and I, most of my life, there was some kind of wedge between us, just a bit of a strain. We loved each other, but we just weren't really close in a certain way, and that saddened me. I called home frequently, and she called me. I visited home. I was always welcome in her home. Yet, there was just something between us that didn't feel quite right. So, I had an amazing experience a few years ago that completely changed my relationship with my mom in an instant. I can only call it a miracle. And so I want to share that with you, and I've never told her this story. I wasn't feeling great a few years ago, and I was listening to my favorite healing tapes called The Mystery of Healing. And I've had great experiences with them before, but I went into a very deep meditative state, and suddenly, I can only describe it as I heard a voice that said, "Love your mother." It was like the unseen hand revealed itself to me in that moment. And for about 45 minutes, waves of ecstasy and joy washed over me as I wept. And it was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in my life. And in an instant, my relationship with my mom was completely transformed, and I totally fell in love with my mother in a minute. It's been amazing, and it's completely transformed our relationship. You know how with our mothers, there are those special buttons that only mothers can trigger, like, chalk screeching across a blackboard where your hair kind of stands on end. Well, we had quite a few of those moments, and believe it or not, I think she may have felt that way when I opened my mouth occasionally as well. Hard to believe, but I think so. We hardly have those moments anymore. I can send her a beautiful card telling her how much I love her. And in everything I do, in any of my achievements, for me, one of the primary purposes is to help my mom to live a life of more ease. She's never really been financially successful, although she would give the shirt off her back to anyone and has helped so many people. It's truly amazing. So I'd like to have you consider your relationship with your mother on this special day, Mother's Day. And try to get in touch with whether there's anything you might do to create a sense of healing if there needs to be one. I consider what I experienced a miracle, and there's nothing I did. It was an act of grace, and I say that from a spiritual perspective, and one that I'll always be profoundly grateful for. But perhaps there's something that you could consider that might begin to heal your relationship with your mother. And in closing, I'd like to say, don't kill your mother, and share a little story with you. When I was teeny, and I mean little teeny, I really didn't know what I was doing. My mom was laying across the bed laughing with her mouth wide open, and I was sitting on top of her, straddling her, and she had these oh so beautiful dangly shiny earrings on. So I snatched one off and dropped it down her throat. Well, she began to choke a bit, but thank God she was able to retrieve the item without dying. So don't kill your mom, because it would really make for a bad hair day. If you'd like to see more about the story of my mom and my transformation, visit my blog at bestrelationshipsever.com, where there's a picture of us and a blog today in honor of my mom on Mother's Day. Thanks for visiting, and I look forward to seeing you again.